Warning: this video contains highly controversial information that the mainstream medical establishment does not want you to see. This presentation saves thousands of lives each time it's shown. All the information in it is scientifically verified, yet two of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world are threatening Dr. Pearson with lawsuits if he keeps his presentation online. Dr. Pearson is also in danger of losing his medical license for simply making the public aware that there is indeed a proven, effective, all-natural treatment to diabetes, and that there has been for many years. In light of the above, we cannot guarantee this video will remain up long. It could be removed next week, today, or even before you're finished watching it. So handle your mouse with care. One accidental click could mean missing out on the information that could save your life, or the life of a loved one. Raise the volume high and take rigorous notes, because if you simply watch until the end and do what it says, 14 days from now you will feel like a completely new person. Enjoy the presentation.
Hi, I'm Dr. David Pearson, an independent medical researcher specializing in insulin production and diabetes, and I'd like to ask you a question. What if I told you there was a completely natural treatment that treats the root cause of diabetes, that the medical establishment has actually been hiding from you on purpose? A treatment that's 100% proven effective, yet totally unknown to your doctor and 99% of all doctors around the country. What if this one natural secret, when used for just a short period of time, can give you a radical shift in your health for the better and instantly improve your quality of life? And in fact, eliminate most all the worries and inconveniences you have right now as a result of your diabetes, even if it's been in your family for millennia. And even if you haven't had a glucose reading below 200 since 2001. I put a challenge before you. If you commit the next 6 minutes to this presentation, the most talked about presentation online right now, if you just watch it carefully and do what it says, I promise you will not only believe that it's possible, you will know that it's possible as a scientific fact, just like you know the Earth goes around the sun. And then, only moments later, you will begin the process of naturally treating your diabetes from the source, absolutely free, right here on this very website. That way, you won't just know it's true, you'll see the results with your very own eyes. How can I speak with such confidence? After all, I haven't checked your blood pressure, taken a reading, or done anything else to know what shape your body is in. The truth is, I don't have to. I don't have an ounce of doubt about my claims. Even though I've given my real name, and even though this is going out to hundreds of thousands of people who will hate me forever if I mislead them. I don't want that, and I still have no doubt about my claim. Why? Because when you see the sun come up 21,894 days in a row, you can be pretty confident it's coming up tomorrow. 21,894 is exactly how many people have now used this secret I'm about to share to radically improve their diabetes, without surgery, without a needle, without pills, without even going into the hospital. Yes, even type 1 diabetics. These 20,000 plus individuals now enjoying their lives like any normal person, without worrying about their diabetes at all. Their glucose levels remain in normal ranges, no matter what they eat, no matter how much or little they exercise, no matter what kind of stress they have in their life, no matter how much they sleep, no matter how much sun they get. They live lives that are just plain normal. How nice would that be? Just to get back to normal. How would that feel for you? To go through your day just like everyone else. No meds, no finger pricks, no test strips, no shots, no constant doctor's visits, no fear of early death, no fear of blindness or amputation. The freedom to just live life as it was meant to be lived. You see a milkshake? You buy a milkshake. You see a hot dog with a bun? You eat a hot dog with a bun. Eat exactly what you want to eat and just enjoy. Play with your kids. Hold them and tell them you'll be there for them forever, and watch their faces light up. Be there for your spouse instead of having them worry about you, instead of being a burden. Be there for them. Be their bedrock, the one they can lean on. Imagine the stress melting off your shoulders as you realize you'll never need to prick your finger for another blood sugar reading ever again. Imagine the fear crippling you inside, releasing, letting go, and never coming back. You know what would happen? The real you would come out. A powerful, fun, energetic, and happy you that you didn't even know you had inside. In my experience, even better than before. But I honestly don't like to speak too much about what it's like. I'll let my 20,000 do the job. You'll be hearing from them throughout the presentation. So let's hear from one of them now. Linda Ellison from Port Charlotte, Florida, had this to say.
2 years ago, I was a mess. I had near kidney failure, glaucoma, and my blood sugar levels were out of control. But then I found Dr. Pearson's program. In just a few days, my blood sugar went from 228 to 110. And that has literally changed everything. I no longer have to worry about what I eat. My kidneys are coming back to life. I am no longer at risk. I am a new woman thanks to this program.
Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You've seen a lot of internet scams that never panned out, and you're probably already lumping this in with them. We're probably just out to get your money. Well, as you'll see in a minute, we're not going to ask you to risk a dime. But if that's what you're thinking, I understand. I would be thinking the exact same thing if I were in your shoes, because what I'm saying flies in the face of everything you've ever known since you became a diabetic. From day one, every doctor you've gone to has told you there is no cure to diabetes, only ways to manage it, which is when they went on to tell you to prick yourself with a needle every morning, eat rabbit food, and run on a treadmill. And if you're type 1 diabetes, they told you that not only is there no cure for you, there will never be a cure, so give up trying. I used to believe the same. I accepted it, like I'm sure you did. So what's happening here on this crazy website? Well, what's happening here is we're about to reveal a secret. This single secret into the workings of the human body and its endocrine system means defeating diabetes is not only possible, but absolutely scientifically proven if you simply follow the protocol. This secret, that has over 34 clinical studies behind it, none of them covered in any major newspaper, and not taught in any major medical school. Nonetheless, these studies show definitely that it not only stabilizes your blood sugar levels in days, but effectively treats the source of diabetes that made you diabetic in the first place. The results you see here are spectacular, so outside the box, because this secret operates on a completely different playing field to the current modern approach to diabetes. This is a new angle, one medical science has completely missed the boat on. See, I spent a decade of my life trying to cure diabetes by researching the pancreas and insulin production. I later came to learn that insulin is not, I repeat not, the most effective means to regulate blood sugar for diabetics. Your body has another, completely different source, God-given, that acts as a regulator of glucose, over 100 times more powerful than insulin ever was. It was given to us, in our bodies, for diabetics to use, much like a reserve fuel tank on an airplane. Only in this case, the reserve tank is actually far bigger than the main one. All the power we need to regulate blood sugar effectively is already inside our body. We simply have never been taught how to access this almost unlimited store of sugar regulating power. That requires no insulin at all to do its job. You will in fact metabolize sugar even better than you did before you got diabetes. Hear from John Harris to see how this plays out in real life. He specifically asked me to show this to people who were considering trying out the system. He said he wanted you to know this was for real. He says,
I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I've always been told there's nothing I can do about my diabetes. You just have to learn to live with it. So, when I saw Dr. Pearson's program, I was a little skeptical. After only 1 week, though, into the program, I realized that Dr. Pearson was right and everyone else was wrong. My blood sugar went from 192 to 105 in only 8 days. I'm off all but one of the meds, and my doctors now say that I no longer need daily insulin. This is nothing short of a miracle.
Thanks, John. So why doesn't the medical establishment tell you about this? Why hasn't any doctor told you about this? Why aren't the medical journals abuzz about this? At risk of my career, I'm going to tell you exactly why, with rock-solid proof of a conspiracy to hide the cure for diabetes, information I could only have because I was, to a certain extent, on the inside of this operation. Because it's important for you to know. This will open your eyes to the fact that you are a victim in a system that never really had your best interests at heart. It's a little like the Matrix. You yourself know something's wrong with the picture. You just can't put your finger on it. You can start by asking yourself, do you believe the medical establishment is really doing everything it can to cure diabetes? Let's consider it a little. Today there are 30 million diabetics in the country. That's 10% of the population. In 2016, there will be 45 million diabetics. In 2030, it is estimated that 80 million will have the disease. This will translate to approximately 1.6 million deaths each year and 1.8 million amputations caused by diabetes. That's the equivalent of a Holocaust every 6 years that this country is facing. And yet, there is no cure for diabetes. Impossible to cure? When has that stopped us before? Polio has a vaccine. Smallpox has a vaccine. Tuberculosis took just 2 years to cure. AIDS has an effective cocktail. Diabetes, on the other hand, has been proliferating and getting worse for at least 100 years over a much larger population. It's lethal, and it's spinning out of control right now. And yet, we still have no cure for diabetes. And according to them, it's not just that we don't have a cure, it's that we're not even any closer to a cure than we were a decade ago. We sent a man to the moon, starting from scratch in just 8 years, but the medical industry, who spent decades and billions upon billions of dollars on diabetes research, is still clueless about how to make our body metabolize sugar. Is that really possible? They say there is no cure, or so they say, and every time they say it, they doom you to a life in which you're helpless to fate. Your life is like a roulette wheel, a life fought with the high chance of blindness, amputation, kidney failure, heart disease, Alzheimer's, even cancer. Any of them could strike at any time. Death hangs over you. In a way, it doesn't hang over everyone else, because you know that something as simple as an overdose on an insulin shot can spell diabetic shock, coma, and death. And when you're type 2, you feel like a failure. After all, they say you could have prevented it. You can see the looks, even on the doctors' faces, that say you're unmotivated, lazy, unable to control yourself. But they don't really understand, do they? How hard it is to be in your skin. When you're type 1, you feel hopeless. Pinpricks for breakfast. A rabbit's diet for the rest of your life. And you just accept it. We all accept it. Well, not quite all. Everyone but me. I saw something wrong with this picture and it made me angry. And it should make you angry too. Not the kind of angry that tears you up inside, but the kind of angry that fuels you in a fight for your life. That fight begins right now, because in just a moment, your eyes will open to a completely new perspective on diabetes. This breakthrough is already working miracles that no one thought was possible. It is getting truly miraculous results by the thousands before our very eyes. It is scientifically based, now proven by multiple double-blind clinical trials. Blood sugar levels begin to normalize in the very first day and continue to improve every day for the next 14 days, at which point you will feel better than you've felt in decades. Yes, it's unbelievable, but it is real, and you're about to know that it's real. So where did this method come from? Well, this is where things get a bit personal. Donald Pearson, a war veteran, was my father. He was diagnosed with diabetes at age 54, and to me, it just didn't seem fair. He took the shots. He took the medications as prescribed. He improved his diet. He exercised. He took vitamin D, fish oil, and a whole host of other vitamins, supplements, and herbs. He did everything he was told to do, and a lot more. And as I watched my father's leg replaced by a stump, my father used to be a tennis player. He loved tennis. And now he couldn't even walk, let alone chase after a backhand. And then, as I watched him die at the age of 58, a fire ignited inside of me, and I said to myself, I don't know much, but I know the medical profession is letting us down, and we're dying because of it. I want to know why. I need to know why there weren't any real solutions yet. Only management, which wasn't really managing the disease at all. I decided to go to medical school. I knew exactly what field I was going into and got myself hired in a clinic focused solely on pancreatic research so I could work towards a cure for diabetes. Over time, as I rose the ranks, I came to understand how the industry I was in actually operated. I found out why there was no cure to diabetes yet. You know, before we go on, I have to tell you, my name's David. The pharmaceutical companies are Goliath. They can crush me with their left finger for what I'm about to share. I know that. All I've got is my slingshot, and rock, and my faith. And call me crazy, but I figure if we hit 'em well, right between the eyes, they might just fall. With that said, we begin. Every crime has a smoking gun. What I'm going to share with you now is Big Pharma's diabetes smoking gun. This will be undeniable proof of the cover-up or willful ignorance by Big Pharma towards new research and development that would lead to a cure for diabetes. There are many smoking guns in this case, but I'll just focus on one particularly damning quote that we received directly from the mouths of the pharmaceutical company executives. The conversation I'm about to quote from was recorded, and it took place between an anonymous friend, partner, and an associate professor of medicine at Harvard University, and the chief operations manager of one of the top 3 pharmaceutical companies internationally. She presented him with promising research exploring the possibility of a vaccine, which, with their help, could become a cure for diabetes. Surprisingly, she met a lot of resistance, excuse after excuse as to why it's not going to happen. After a lot of hemming and hawing, she got frustrated and demanded to know what was really going on. The executive had a rare moment of honesty, at which point he said, "Ms., there just isn't enough money to be made in a cure that uses an inexpensive, generically available vaccine, period." She was horrified at what she heard. Reading between the lines, he had just said, "Even though our company is worth billions, we can't sacrifice the money it would cost us to offer a cure to diabetes that could save millions of lives." This quote has actually been published online. Anyone can look it up. Unfortunately, we face this kind of talk all too often by those who claim to be champions of our health. Diabetes drugs, insulin, and medical devices such as insulin pumps, glucose monitors, and pricey test strips all add up to $245 billion in sales for the large pharma companies, according to the American Diabetes Association. In 2 years, a cure like the one my friend the professor wanted would make that $245 billion in revenue disappear. The sudden and massive loss in profits would cause the stock of all pharmaceutical companies to plummet as investors flock to tech or commodities, because apparently iPhones don't get cured and disappear. And now you know why we don't have a cure. Yes, seeing reality was a wake-up call, but I took it as a call to dig even deeper into my research, because the cure certainly wouldn't be coming with any help from them. My point of focus was type 1 diabetes, because that's what my father had. As you know, in type 1 cases, the pancreas is completely unable to produce any insulin. Under current thinking, there is no way that can be fixed. You can't bring a dead person back to life. You can't bring a dead pancreas to life. The solution for this was going to have to be out of the box. I created and nixed tens of theories, and in the end, my biggest help came out of my biggest enemy. Even though I knew they weren't on my side, I did still have a lot of interaction with the pharmaceutical companies for other reasons, and I made a close friend in one of the big 3, someone who was aware of what I was trying to do, and sincerely wanted to help even though his hands were mostly tied. He did not give me permission to give his name, so we'll call him Andy X. Andy X had access to high-level meetings between corporate and their team of scientists, and on one particular day the topic of their discussion was diabetes. I get a call from him the day after the meeting. He says, "David, I have good news and bad news. We met with the diabetes scientists today. I showed them your article in the Diabetes Spectrum to get their take on it. They said that the theory is flawed," and he proceeded to explain why it won't work. That hurt. But what was the good news? "The good news is," he said, "is that they have had the answer." "The answer?" "Yes, you know, the cure." "You're kidding. They have it?" "Yes, for years, actually. They've just been not able to test and produce it because the higher-ups won't allow it. They asked if maybe you could find a way to get it done." I said, "Of course I will. But what's their angle?" Andy said, "Okay, I could lose my job for saying this, but it's going to save so many lives, so I've decided to do it." He said, "David, research the liver and IGF as a replacement to insulin, and be sure you're consistent." He said a lot more than that, but that was basically the gist of it. IGF. Interesting. This was out of the scope of my expertise. But after a little research, I got the hang of it, and to me, IGF sounded very, very promising. After all, just look at what IGF stands for. It stands for insulin-like growth factor. In other words, it works very much like insulin does. I discovered it functions like our backup supply when insulin runs on empty, a backup supply that wasn't really being tapped. I was onto something, but was it really powerful enough to do insulin's job? I ran the numbers, and I was saddened. Turns out IGF didn't have even 5% of the glucose regulating power of insulin. Why did these scientists over there think replacing 5% of insulin is such a big deal? I didn't give up, though. It dawned upon me that he had added the strange phrase, "Be sure you're consistent." What did that mean? I decided to give things a second look. What was inconsistent about what I was doing? Turns out I had made a mistake. I wasn't comparing the 2 hormones properly. I was using different units of measurement. Doctors everywhere were making this same mistake that I did. I wonder how many other doctors made this mistake. When I made the proper conversions and began to compare them properly, I got shivers. Turns out, IGF provides way more glucose metabolizing power than I thought. In fact, its power to regulate glucose was more than insulin by a full 100 times. This was revolutionary. Now I knew why those scientists thought this was such a big deal. The entire time we've been trying to treat type 1 diabetics and even type 2 diabetics, our main focus was on the wrong organ and the wrong chemical. Fact is, my research revealed, just a small increase in IGF takes almost all the burden off the pancreas. I knew right there and then, if IGF was this powerful, we only need to find an effective way to increase the amount of IGF in the system, and we could stabilize blood sugar levels in just days, and ultimately reverse diabetes type 2. What was even more exciting for me was that this would even work on diabetics with type 1. Even though your pancreas may no longer be operable, that's irrelevant. We're working with a completely different hormone, other than insulin, that is now regulating your sugar. That means type 1 diabetics now have a chance. Now all we needed was a way to control the IGF levels. We knew we had to take the natural route, because Big Pharma would block any drug we tried to come out with. So we went on an old-fashioned expedition, in search for any substance that increased IGF. We traveled the world, testing hundreds of different combinations and cocktails of hundreds of different compounds. Compounds taken from all over the world, including but not limited to India, Southern Asia, Africa, and South America. We chemically studied each of these substances in all their combinations to gauge their reaction to IGF production. We spun the roulette wheel hundreds of times until we came upon the combination that got the most noticeable results, the fastest. And we never expected how fast it would actually be. What we saw with our optimal blend was a 32% increase in IGF levels in just 8 hours. We only needed 20% to reach our targets, and we were getting 32. Glucose metabolism up by 216% on the very first day. When we saw the test results, we literally jumped out of our chairs and started dancing. We were tired, but it didn't matter. We all knew what we were witnessing was history in the making, and we were part of it. The answer to diabetes was literally in front of us. It was the vaccine we'd all been waiting for, every bit as powerful, but without the vaccine. You're probably asking yourself, what happened when we gave this solution to real people suffering from diabetes? Let's find out now.
Hey, my name is Carol. I'm from Chicago, and I have had type 1 diabetes since I was born. It runs in our family, and it's just something I've had to struggle with for pretty much my entire life. No matter what I've tried in the past, I have never really been able to get my sugar under control. Even with taking my insulin, my sugar was always high. That was until I found your program, and I am telling you, I cannot believe how well it's worked. I thank God every day that I found it, and I am completely off of my medication now. My sugar is under control. And I have even slowly started to experiment with adding new foods back into my diet, like even cakes and cookies. And my sugar has remained steady. So I have to say, thank you, Dr. Pearson. Thank you so much.
And for type 2 diabetics, the results are even more exciting. Since the IGF will reduce the need for insulin, your pancreas doesn't need to work as hard. This allows the pancreas to regenerate itself, become revitalized, and return to normal functioning. Like this.
Hey there, I'm Michael Gorell, and I am a type 2 diabetic. Well, I was a type 2 diabetic, and only about one day into the program, I thought, well, you know, let's take a look, and so I checked my glucose reading, and I thought that the meter was broken. It was at 118. And that was down by 100 points from the day before. And anyway, this is really a way to treat diabetes, I think. You have certainly convinced me. I think that this is going to save a lot of lives. So this is my video to you, Dr. Pearson, and I just wanted to thank you so much. Okay, bye.
You're welcome, Michael. As you can see, IGF really can do the job 100 times better than insulin. And that is why you're seeing these impossible results so incredibly fast. If you want to experience these exact same results for yourself, if you want to eliminate all your diabetic symptoms, treat diabetes from the source, and do it all in just days, all you need is 3 things: the right information, the right program, and the right ingredients. And in just a moment, you're going to get all three basically for free. You will actually be able to begin the healing process within the hour in the program you're going to receive, because you are about to learn an exact system tailor-made for you that will increase IGF production exponentially and 100% naturally. This process will repair your liver from the inside out, clearing it of any damage it has sustained over the years. Hint, we all have liver damage to some extent. Healing the liver is critical to increasing IGF levels and restoring optimal blood sugar levels quickly, which will reverse your diabetes. But this won't just solve your diabetes problem, it will solve every aspect of your health. IGF happens to be a cousin of another hormone called the growth hormone. Growth hormone levels will also increase with the increase in IGF, which will offer side benefits such as a slowdown in the general aging process and increased metabolism, so weight comes off faster and more easily. There are hundreds of other wonderful benefits, which I don't even have time to go into right now. Just rest assured, increased growth hormone will make you feel like a new man or woman once you start using this program. The course makes doing all this brain-dead simple in a friendly, fun, and easy step-by-step program, which we simply call diabetes-free. For the first time in history, a treatment is available that actually gets results, and in just 14 days, with a completely safe, completely natural solution with no side effects. The program, which was created by myself and my research team, is the product of over 3 years of testing and research. We saw countless diabetic patients significantly reduce their need for medication far sooner than our doctors ever thought possible. We instantly knew it had to get out to all four corners of the earth. This course you're about to receive takes all of the guesswork out of this process of reversing diabetes. It's confusion-free, guaranteed. It will tell you exactly what to eat every single meal, and you will be very surprised at how delicious all of it is. It will introduce you to new, rare, exotic compounds your body has been begging for since the day you became diabetic. There are no pills to swallow. You will consume these compounds in delicious shakes your whole family will love. These take minutes to make and will leave you feeling absolutely fantastic moments after you drink them. And don't underestimate it. The shakes are powerful. Our real concern here is not that your blood sugar would fall too slow, but that it will fall too fast. We have numerous precautions in place to ensure that doesn't happen, but the speed in which your diabetes is reversed will still shock you. The course operates on a few levels, which all work synergistically to ensure this happens in record time. For instance, you will be given several little life hacks, that is to say, small changes in your lifestyle, that take very little effort. In fact, you won't even notice them, and yet they will have massive effects in the health of your liver and the stabilization of your glucose levels. Diabetes-free answers every question you might have. We know because we've run tens of thousands of students through the system and built this course around what they told us they wanted, so it's truly perfected. However, if you should have a question, we have an eager and knowledgeable support staff who is standing by 24/7 to answer it. Most of them are former diabetics themselves. They will support you and motivate you, like only another diabetic can. We're going to talk about the price for the course now. But first, we've got to face some cold, hard facts. I mentioned above that diabetes costs you over $14,000 a year, whether you realize it or not. You know that your insurance premiums are sky high compared to everyone else. Your long-term health costs over a lifetime due to diabetes are expected to be as much as $100,000. So how much should it cost you to eliminate all of that? By all logic, it should cost quite a lot. Consider also the expense, time, and research that went into this product, and you'll begin to realize that it should cost even more than $14,000. But, luckily for you, we're not Big Pharma. We're not enslaved to any investors, and we're not even in it for the money. Fact is, this information doesn't belong to us. It just came through us. It belongs to you, the one who is actually suffering, which is why diabetes-free won't even cost you $14,000. If we did charge you that, it would pay for itself in 1 year. But we're still not doing it. It won't be $14,000 or even $1,000. It will not be $750. Not even $500 either. What will it be? Just enough to cover our costs. Diabetes-free, the most revolutionary program of the decade, is only a $37 refundable deposit. The $37 is just a nominal payment that will help us keep this website up. It's completely voluntary. You decide if you want to pay for it after you've been through the program. There is absolutely no pressure from us whatsoever to pay. We'll return your deposit with a smile at any time over the next 60 days when you say the word. Not surprisingly, we have very few asking for it back. After all, we're creating on average 83 successful new case studies per day right now. Those people are usually trying to find out how to pay more just to express their gratitude. And here's the guarantee on this product. It's very simple. Type 1 or 2 diabetes will be improved massively or your money back. And I don't just mean you'll feel better. I mean real results that your doctor will notice. Real results that might actually change your dosages, drop your weight, allow you a more expansive diet, or change how often you need to take your blood sugar levels. Those kinds of results. I guarantee you he's going to be shocked at what he sees when he sees you next, and he's going to be dying to know what your secret is. You have a full 60 days to decide if you want your money back. But you'll know in just days. Now, here's some more good news for you. When you order today, and I really mean today, I'm going to throw in some of our most valuable and powerful products 100% free. The first is called Foot Miracle. It's no secret. Diabetics have a hate-hate relationship with their feet. From neuropathy to skin changes to calluses to varicose veins, the foot problems just never seem to end. Guess what? Problem solved. Because we have developed a revolutionary new program that our clients say literally works foot miracles. We're going to teach you a tactic that's ancient, ignored, and yet more powerful than anything any podiatrist can offer. This technique causes direct and immediate increase in blood flow and circulation in a way which is going to revitalize your feet at the cellular level. From the veins to the muscle fibers to the skin, they will be literally good as new because they will be new, regenerated cells. New feet, like the ones you had when you were a teenager. Get ready to fall in love with your feet again. Show them proudly on the beach and let your significant other have their way with them. It's all possible and easily achievable, only with the revolutionary system called Foot Miracle. Next, 27 desserts that won't spike your blood sugar. Your diet will expand once you've been on this program, but some still want a loosely diabetic diet just to be on the safe side and keep their weight down. So we asked, is there a way we can give these folks a chance to really eat without the guilt? We developed the answer. This was a collaboration of world-class bakers, an experienced endocrinologist, and a highly sought-after dietitian. What came out of this collaboration was historic. Recipes that once you have them, you never feel like you're missing out on anything for the rest of your life. You will be able to eat like a glutton without your blood sugar budging. Never before has a diabetic been able to eat this well. It's a $97 course, free with your order today. Next up is Breathe Into a New Life. Over time, I've discovered that many people are dying simply because they don't know how to breathe. Oxygen chambers help cancer patients. Proper breathing can have that same effect for anyone. I learned breathing directly from a West Bengal Indian, 85-year-old Siddha yoga master who hasn't gotten sick since he was 18 years old. And I've turned everything I've learned into a simple step-by-step course. Maria Hutchinson took the course. Here's what she had to say. I felt that during this course magic happened. My life since has been filled with an abundance of joy and happiness. I had an ulcer. It is now healing up. I'm so grateful for all you have done. It really is such a gift. This is a $127 item. But it's yours free with your order of Diabetes Free today. If you're keeping score, that's $271 worth of our products I'm giving you for free. Tell me, do you really want to walk away from that? Do you also want to walk away from the first real natural way to quickly and effectively treat diabetes from the source when this may be your only chance to get it? I advise that before you make that decision, you ask yourself a few questions. Your family. What do you think they deserve? Do they deserve a mom, dad, or granddad who is able to be there for them in health 100% of the time for decades to come? Or one who becomes a burden on the entire family, whose wedding might you be dancing at if you added another 20 years to your life? And how would that feel? Would you like to be able to enjoy a birthday cake with your family without feeling left out? Do you really want to live the rest of your life pricking yourself with a needle? What about a life with no more fear of which limb you might lose in a decade? Is that worth fighting for? Eating a donut without wondering if it will land you in the ER. What about an end to the fear of a heart attack or losing your eyesight? Organ failure, and a whole laundry list of other possible complications. Trust me, Living free of these fears is going to make you feel like you've never felt before. I just had a student yesterday tell me that for the first time, he was able to look into his daughter's eye and honestly say, "I'll always be there for you." Seeing the smile on their face when you say that will put a smile on yours, a smile that won't want to go away. You have a chance at all of it, right now. So why are you still listening to me? There's an order button below. Hit the button, fill out the form on the next page, and show your diabetes who's boss. Beat your diabetes. Is there any reason not to? What will it take? Will you wait until you lose function in a hand or a foot before you seek out the solution? Or are you going to wait until you go blind? Ask yourself, if there's even a 1% chance that what you're going to learn could avoid that, wouldn't it be worth it? Don't you at least deserve a chance at a real solution instead of just Band-Aids? Let me remind you, I'm not asking for a penny for this. You will decide if you want to pay for it after you've completed the program. You'll either be happy and excited to pay for it, or you won't pay for it at all. So, the question is, how much would you pay if you knew it could solve your diabetes forever? I'm sure it's a lot more than $37. It's probably in the millions. So why are we still here talking? Hit the button below and get started. What are you going to do? Put that $37 towards baseball tickets? To a game you won't even think about a week later? Or a pair of shoes that will go out of style in a year? Or are you going to put it towards something that will make every day of your life infinitely better? Make your decision. Make it well. Hit the button below. Then fill out the form on the next page. It's safe. It's secure. And when you do it, instantly, the historic diabetes-free program will be in your hands. Hit the button now. You have nothing to lose and a new life to gain. I want you to know something. The pharmaceutical companies are hoping you don't buy this. They want you to be enslaved to them. Their drugs, strips, and monitors. Don't let them win. Fight back and join us in the eradication of diabetes once and for all. And it starts with you. Hit the button below now. Your chance to order will end as soon as this video completes, which will happen in seconds. Still here? Maybe you've got some questions that need answering. Let's get to a few of the most common ones. Question number 1. What exactly am I buying? Is it a book? Is it being shipped to me? This is an online training course. It takes place 100% on our website, in our members-only area. You are welcome to download the books and print out the materials if you'd like to hold them in your hands. Having a course you can consume online has a few advantages over a traditional book, which is why we do it. It saves you money on shipping and handling, and it also gives you the chance to start benefiting immediately after you order. Question number 2. I'm a type 1 diabetic. Will this really cure my diabetes? We have hundreds of case studies showing restoration of completely normal blood sugar levels. This is possible because we are now regulating sugar using a hormone other than insulin. So the fact that your pancreas is unable to produce it becomes irrelevant. Question number 3. I have a busy schedule. Will this take much of my time? No. The entire program will take approximately 4 to 6 minutes per day, sometimes less. You will only need to put in this time until your blood sugar stabilizes. After that, the regimen will be much, much shorter. Question number 4. Diabetes is in my family for many generations. Can this still work for me? Absolutely. Every person, no matter how genetically predisposed they are, has the hormones necessary to regulate blood sugar properly. We show you how to wake up these hormones so your body naturally and quickly switches to a fully glucose-balanced state. Question number 5. Will my doctor approve of these methods? This program was developed by doctors. We have also found nearly every doctor we have shown this course to is very enthusiastic about it. We must be prudent, however, and say you should check with your own doctor before you begin the program. Question number 6. I worry about buying things online. Is my order secure? Extremely so. We use the exact triple encryption security systems used by all the large banks. Your information is actually safer on our website than it is at your purchases at your local grocery. Got more questions? As soon as you get inside, 95% of them will all be answered, and there's really no cost to get in. So hit the button below now and fill out the form. Oh, and for the other 5% of questions we might not answer, For that, we have experts standing by ready and waiting for your support request. You can ask them anything under the sun about diabetes, the course, your order, and more. You will have a knowledgeable, articulate, friendly, and satisfying response within 24 hours or less. Remember, once you've been through the course, which you can probably finish by the end of the day, you will still have 59 more days to decide if you want to pay. And we actually encourage you to not pay and get your money back, if you feel that that's what you want to do. So, in summary, the historic diabetes-free program is a click away right now. I've risked my career to bring it to you, and you won't need to pay a penny for it unless you want to. That means this should be the easiest decision of your life. But it's up to you to make it. Don't wait, because diabetes isn't waiting. It's eating away at your vital organs as we speak. If you want to beat it, you will have to take action. Only action can save your health and ensure a long and bright future. Think about it. You have a simple act in front of you right now that could cause the biggest change in your life that you've ever had. It could turn your current life into one with more joy, more freedom, a life without painful needles or expensive medication, with less worry, less pain, and less doctor visits. Claim that. It's what you deserve. Click the button below, fill out the form on the next page, and let the good side of your life begin.